This is I think it's maybe the third or fourth ride I've taken since my accident where I crashed. And I'm up in the area where I did go down. So let's just go to that spot and have a look. I want to know exactly how it happened, what I could have done to avoid it. And here is the corner. So I came in here and I was throttling through and I went down right there. There's where I came. Geared down, slowed down, started to accelerate through the corner, and I think it lost traction on the rear wheel just about here. So the bike slid, I low-sided, went on my side, bike slid over here, landed about here, I landed about there, dislocated my shoulder, scraped my left knee down to the bone, the other knee almost, and it was not good. It was very, very painful. It was what they called a posterior dislocation, so the shoulder was dislocated backwards rather than forward. I guess only 2% are that type. Lucky me, huh? And you know what? On thinking about this, first of all, I carried a little bit too much speed into the corner and therefore had to lean the bike a little bit more aggressively than this bike, these tires, are meant for. And so I was throttling through to counter the G-forces and such. But with that lean angle, this tire, as you can see, is, I mean, it's not exceptionally round. You know, it doesn't, it's not like a street tire, right? Well, I was right at the outer edge of these knobs. So the only thing that was holding me on the road was the edge of every second knob, basically. And it's kind of no wonder at that lean angle that I slid out. The rear tire just lost traction. The front didn't, the rear did. So, I mean, there's a big lesson in that, It's not a sport bike, and I've got a tire on there that is 90% oriented to dirt, 10% to street. So I was really expecting way too much of it, and that was entirely my fault. What I have to remember, and this is the lesson, or one of the lessons in this is a dual sport bike. So I'm riding to those dirt areas on those tires, and they're only 10% oriented to pavement. And I have to keep that in mind. I can't ride it like a street bike, or in this case, a sport bike. That was almost what I was doing. So I think in future, would I get that type of tire again? I think maybe I wouldn't, because a dual sport is a compromise, and I really wasn't compromising, I was wanting the best off-road traction, but at the sacrifice to grip on pavement. And, frankly, I'm going a lot faster on pavement than I will on dirt, ever. So where do I need the most protection, the most grip? Well, yeah, for my own safety, on pavement, right? So I think being a dual sport, maybe I should stick to a 50-50 tire and just suffer with a little bit of maybe not as good performance on really loose dirt or mud, that type of thing. But I'm usually, when I'm off-road, I'm kind of going slowish, picking my way, type of thing. The only damage to the bike was right here, these exhaust covers. They all broke in half. There's actually 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3. that one and that one broke in half. And so Honda wants $200 for that whole assembly. So what I did was I joined them right there and around there on the lower one with fiberglass cloth and epoxy, 2-part epoxy glue. And that worked nice. It's very strong. This portion ground away. I could have just built it up with a bit of putty, but I didn't bother. And then I painted it black so it wouldn't be such a standout. I kind of like the black though, don't you think? I mean, it keys in with the black of the tank, the black of the plastic guard, and the white now has a nice sleek line. As soon as this car passes, I'll show you the other side. Because what I did there was I kept the line same on that side so that the white would have the same line by painting the toolbox black. And again, I think it looks actually better. So there you go. While I was recovering, I did another little modification. I don't know whether it's going to prove successful, but you might notice the front fender is chopped. I cut it back. I was getting tired of that huge flap and that big front end that, you know, when you're on highway at speed, it just, on my bike anyway, it flapped around, and I thought it produced a bit of a instability problem at speeds. Anyway, what I did was I cut it back. Now hopefully I'm not going to get too much spray coming back up at me. I haven't ridden in the rain since, but since I'm not a fan of riding in the rain or in a lot of, well, if I'm in mud, I'm not going fast anyway, so there wouldn't be a problem. So I did that. You can see where the handguards did their job in that crash, because basically the slide points on the bike were here and there. So the rail on the handguards, I think, stopped effectively the bar from catching in the ground and torquing and twisting the bars. So it just slid on here, which works. I think that was a benefit for sure. But anyway, I hope that the video of the accident and maybe this one just maybe helps someone out that might otherwise be making the same mistake that I did, pushing the envelope a little bit too hard, not respecting the type of bike it is or the type of tire you have, so forth. So believe me, it ain't worth pushing that envelope too much. It's very, very painful. I'm doing better now. But my shoulder is still recovering. My sacrum is still a little bit iffy. My knee is still healing. The other knee, the right knee, got torqued, and that's a bit of an issue. But I'm a good healer, so onward and upward, not onward and downward.